new Royals manager Mike Matheny, who joins us on the Friday Stove. Hey, Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Matt.
You've got to be thrilled, right? I mean, a little time on the sideline after your great run in St. Louis, and here you are with a brand new slate and a new opportunity in Kansas City. Give us your thoughts as you approach your first spring training as Royals manager.
Well, what a gift, first of all, to be able to be a part of an organization. And Dayton Moore, and at the time owner Mr. David Glass, opened up the doors for me to just come in and bring some value. And what I decided to do, I just wanted to ask a lot of questions, keep my eyes and my ears open, and try to evaluate some of the things, the way I've thought about the game, the managerial position, and then to watch a different organization, how they go about their business, how they build their culture, how they were able to take a team with 100 losses in 2006 and build a championship team in 2015. Those are sort of things that amaze me, and just blown away by the people involved in the organization, top to bottom, and the support from the fan base.
You know, Mike, it's nice to step back and see things from a different perspective at times. So I'm curious, in the position you were at in Kansas City, not on the field, in the fire of the game, what did you see differently? And we'll just start with that. How did you see the game different?
Well, I think first what I felt obligated to do was to do some self-evaluation, right, and to ask some tough questions and ask for feedback, which you better be careful when you start asking for that. You never know what you're going to get. But,
yeah, we know all about that.
You got to trust the source too. But it had some trusted sources that I wanted to bounce some things off of. This is the way I thought about things before. And how was I perceived? How was I evaluated? And there were some areas where I knew I needed to improve on. And with those in mind, went in thinking, okay, I want to learn from what's going on in this organization as a whole, but also ways that I can improve individually in case that opportunity does ever present itself again.
So, we talk about this a lot, that for a guy coming into a new situation as a major league manager, despite the fact that you've got plenty of experience, it's always nice to have a friendly or two or three on the coaching staff. And in your case, I know one of your best friends when you played is the incumbent pitching coach there. Could you have ever imagined back in the day when you're on a backfield in Chandler, Arizona, doing your Hofflings with Cal Eldred, that you guys would be manager, pitching coach someplace down the road in the big leagues?
No, not my wildest dreams, Matt. But it was, and you were there with us. There's certain organizations that really do a nice job of raising up players, and I thought Milwaukee did a terrific job.
The one smart move you made, Mike, you didn't bring Matt along with that group. I like
Matt had moved on to bigger and better things, but to be taught the game the right way with Phil Garner, Don Rowe. I had Del Crandall as my catching coach. I mean, just guys that were teaching old school, and it was hardcore, sometimes like a boot camp. But the game was the meticulous part of knowing the why behind what you do. That's something Cal always did really well. Figured that if he and his wife Christy and family could work it out, that they'd be coaching the game somewhere. I never dreamed really that this would be a path for me. And I've said this many times, and it makes no sense, and it makes people scratch their head every time I say it, but I'll say it anyhow. I mean, I knew I loved playing the game, but I never knew how much I would enjoy this side even more. Makes no sense, I know, but I found it's a sweet spot for me. It's an opportunity for me to invest into people, for me to use some of the skill set that you develop as a catcher, building those relationships, encouraging, challenging, and building relationships. I mean, that's really at the core of what the manager position is about.
Mike, it's Ken Rosenthal. Congratulations on this position. About your self-evaluation, I read a lot about what you said after you were hired, and you talked about hiring a media consultant, an analytics consultant. What were some of the things you learned talking to those people?
Well, I think that it was pretty wide and broad, the different perspectives. A lot of it was when I jumped in on the analytics side, because those are some of the feedbacks that I would get, is need to be a little more in tune. And so always want to learn, hear what's next anyhow. I think that's something every manager ought to do. So I jumped into an online course that was taught by Ari Kaplan, who's well respected in the game. And Ari and I spent some time one-on-one kind of evaluating me. And so just trying to keep that conversation open, to get somebody at the 30,000 view perspective to say, hey, here's some of the things that you might want to think about. We have such a great group, and every organization does now. So deep in analytics, there's a lot there, plenty of resources. But to have somebody kind of taking it from a different perspective, I think is very valuable. But that, as well as jumping in and realizing, okay, if there's something I can do better in the media, what might it be? So I hired a gentleman who's a professor in journalism and just, okay, let's tear down and break apart some of the things that the guys do really well in this game, some of the areas where I've shown weaknesses. How can I improve what I do? And I think, those are, once again, not always fun conversations, and I can defend and I can kind of back myself to whatever I think I was doing was right. But I know I want to be better, and I know that there's people out there doing it really well. How can I learn from them? And I think sometimes it's just a bold step of getting out of your own way and bringing somebody else in to make you aware of some things.
Hey, Mike, you said one thing earlier kind of triggered this thought for me. Obviously being a catcher, when you're talking about Cal Eldridge earlier being a pitcher, you were a catcher. And I remember talking with Don Baylor years ago. How do you know a pitcher's starting to lose it? And he goes, I can see it. I was a great hitter. And I always wondered with Joe Girardi, with Brad Osmus, A.J. Hinch, yourself, all these former catchers, Mike Scioscia, what advantage does that give you in watching a game from the bench? Not just with the numbers and everything, that's part of it too, but how do you sense and see a game when you think, I might need to make a pitching change?
Yeah, I think it all comes down to those relationships, and it takes time to start to see the little nuances. There were guys that I was able to catch for a long period of time that I could tell when they would barely shake their right arm and just a little bit, you were grabbing something. That stuff would stand out to me. And I think a conscientious catcher, which I think is probably the number one character trait for a catcher to be successful in this game, is you have to be conscientious of everything that's going on, especially when it comes to the pitching staff. And so I think I'm hypersensitive to watching every single move, every reaction. A lot of times I won't even follow the path of the ball. I'm watching how they follow through, how they respond, to see if there's anything kind of showing either pain or either showing fatigue, or are they showing fatigue of the mind. And, a lot of times you're taking educated guesses, but that's about all we have. But usually there's an advantage because we've been paying attention.
All right, Mike, big game coming up on Sunday. And I know that in years past you have chosen a side to back in a Super Bowl based on how many players went to Michigan on each roster. But this year's a little different because you played for the Giants. You got some San Francisco skin in the game. You're now managing the Royals, Kansas City guy, true and true. Give us a Super Bowl prediction on Sunday.
Yeah, I enjoyed my time in San Fran, but I am a Chiefs fan now.
You better be.
And Tom Brady made that easy for me with the Patriots not being in there, or else I do have that long-term Wolverine tie. But I'll tell you, Patrick Mahomes and this Kansas City team has been so fun to watch. And, the state of Missouri, once they lost the Rams out of St. Louis, and it became very easy for the statewide and even in the region to fall in love with a team that plays the game the way that the Chiefs do. So I'm predicting 24-21 Chiefs game.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Wow, okay.
There it is. On record. Lock it in.
You brought St. Louis up. You got Keith Costas pounding the desk over there. I'm just letting you know.
I'm not
You know what?
anything, Harold.
He's still celebrating the Blues, and he's fine over there. Don't let those crocodile tears fool you. Hey, Mike, thanks for the visit today. Again, congrats on the job, man. We're really looking forward to watching the Royals grow under your leadership and enjoy the game on Sunday. Bud, thanks for the call.